Another day, another video, and of course another round of exciting updates for our game, Project BOS. If this is your first time stumbling across our devlog, welcome, we're glad you're here. But if you want to catch up and fully understand what's going on today, I highly recommend checking out the 2 previous video links that are in the description below. Otherwise, welcome back, and let's dive right in. So, first order of business, a new fighter has entered the fray, the Rogue. Yeah, sorry mannequin guy, we won't be needing you anymore. For now, we have a much cooler looking character. And I can tell you, making it was not a walk in the park. Now, whenever I make animations, I usually go for side-scroller games, because it's much simpler, easy to imagine, and there are tons of references for it. But changing the perspective from looking at the side to looking at the back narrows down the reference pool by a lot. And drawing from imagination was definitely going to take me months to make something that actually looks nice. So what we ended up doing was enlisting the help of a very good friend of mine who also happened to be crazy good at HEMA to become the reference. And all he had to do was just sit there, do the poses and movements while I record everything. Thankfully he said yes, and after giving him the rundown and helping him look the part, we talked about the movements he should be doing, aka dodging, an idle stance, and attacking. Then we went into filming. There were lots of goofy movements and fun ones, but we got what we needed. Thanks, Alex. After I got the footage, I imported everything into Krita, and because I didn't want it to feel too rotoscoped, I selected a few key poses from the reference and lined them up in a way that would feel more like frame-by-frame animation, and once I was satisfied with the results, I started the drawing process. You know, basically deconstructing, sketching, line art, and all that fun stuff. Now, making the Rogue didn't only improve the visual part of the game, it also helped us fix real gameplay issues. For the old dodge animations were not quite balanced. The crouch animation had much fewer frames than the left or right dodge, which of course made it faster, so that got fixed as well. Now every dodge has the same amount of frames, which includes the same dodge window and same recovery. That means as soon as you press dodge, you have about a few iframes and then you come back to the idle stance. And if you dodge the wrong way, you are vulnerable for both the dodge window and the recovery, making the dodging more balanced, as the player needs to be deliberate about avoiding hits. Now on to the biggest updates. The card system is now finally up and running. Our coders took their sweet time, didn't they? But it was worth it, honestly. You can now create and save decks, and during fights, your cards spawn, shuffle, and cycle through as you play, just like we explained it in the last devlog. You'll always see 2 cards ready to play, one on the left side and one on the right. And of course, you'll have the 2 upcoming cards next. And when you exhaust all of your cards, a timer shows how long before you can draw again. For now, it's a simple timer, but we'll refine it later. The key thing is, your deck always reshuffles randomly, so strategies will vary from hand to hand. But the cards are more than just numbers for cost and damage. They also apply effects like bleed, poison, and weakness, and so and so. Gameplay wise, unlike traditional turn-based systems where effects stack and apply at the end of a round, in Project BOS, because it's real time, these effects will have to update dynamically and frame by frame. So at first, we tried to make the systems clean and elegant, but it got really messy really fast. So we brute forced it the ugliest code you could imagine. But it worked. Then we spent some time cleaning it up, optimizing variables, and structuring everything to make it simple to add new effects. Now, whenever we want a new effect, we just add it to an enumerator, write the function, and boom, a timer is automatically created for it. We also added memory clearing functions so that the game runs smoothly even when you're not in combat. Another update that we have that is worth mentioning is that we started also messing with audio settings. Although we don't have the files ready, we still wanted to make it as easy as possible for future implementations. So we had our boy Biltel, one of our coders by the way, spend some days figuring out a system where you can easily add audio to the game, and playing around with mixers and effects in order to find the best way to put them. He also managed to also connect it to the menu pretty easily, which will now allow you to fiddle around with audio settings and get the perfect balance. Now back to our beloved characters. The rogue isn't just another playable shell either. He has a backstory, motivations, and personal thoughts, all of which you'll be able to find out through dialogue options. And of course, he is only one of many characters that we have in the works. Project BOS leans a lot on story, and we also wanted to make each character engaging and stand out in their own way. But don't worry, if you're the kind of player who doesn't want to click through walls of dialogue, we got you covered. We are making sure you can also run through the game without interacting too much with the world, should you wish to. Sure, you'll miss out on some upgrades, lore, and fun interactions, but you'll still be able to complete your runs. And speaking of story, we still haven't said much about Kuzabil, the land at the heart of the game. This place is packed with lore and holds many mysteries, so much so that our artists, me included, started breaking down every time we add more elements. And I blame you for all of this. Anyway, talking about the lore of the game would take an entire video by itself, so if you're interested and want our artists to suffer, please don't, leave a comment saying, in your best nerd voice, "I'd love to hear more about that awesome story you're making." And while you're at it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. Now, when it comes to experiencing the story, it can be done in many ways. It could be in random events during the run, the main hub where you start, or in what we call camps, which are small safe zones that you access after completing one chapter or biome. There you can relax for a while, enjoy the scenery, browse some items in the shops and arm yourself for the rest of the journey, and of course talk to the different NPCs if you'll feel like it. Here's a sneak peek of the first encampment, which we're really proud of. Good job, Maria. It's also a great way to introduce you to the world bit by bit. Of course, we won't reveal everything at once, but we can give some teasers here and there in future devlogs. And speaking of teasers, I think we can start with a little one right now. They are going to support you from start to finish, and you will meet them as soon as you set foot in the island. The shopkeepers, Anto and Briella. These two lovely characters will make sure you stay topped off and armed to the teeth to kick some serious ass. Now let's talk about the main hub, or the first camp if you will. Because it's a pretty big outpost with many facilities, it would be pretty hard to display every one of them in one screen. So we thought of doing some clever mechanic to navigate through it all. We basically set up a camera that can pan to predefined zones, moving left to right. So just click on the edge of the screen and the camera will automatically move to the next zone, which is honestly better than cramming everything in one scene. And that's it for today's devlog. For a quick recap, we finally got a brand new fighter, we got story and dialogue flexibility, a card system, finally, dynamic card effects, audio channels, camps and checkpoints, and a shiny new camera system, which is quite a lot of progress honestly, but there's still more to come. So thank you all for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to keep up with Project BOS, let us know in the comments what you're most excited about, and until next time, it's
our game. Your soul.